We'll move on to the next item on the agenda.
At this time, I'd like to introduce Mr. Eric Rosenthal from Floracan, based in Sarasota. They have a presentation for you. We'll give them just a few more moments, Eric. Okay.
Thank you for having us. We're here from Floracan. We're a manufacturer based in Sarasota County. We're here to present to Hardy County National Business Relocation to Hardy County. With me here as well, Brian Patterson, our VP of Sales, and Mike Golds, our CFO, and Dennis Dyer, our Chief Manufacturing Officer as well. So we'll go through a little bit about about Floracan, who we are, some of our history, some recognition we've received. Again, our management team and employee breakdown, overview of our corporate trends and things we've progressed in the last few years, review our technology, our products, discuss some partnerships in our business and the markets that we service, and then again, the plan for our relocation, a little bit about why Hardy County, and then answer any questions that you might have. Go ahead. So about Floracan, again, it's founded in 1981 by my parents, Ed and Dave Rosenthal. I'm second generation owner of the business. We are still wholly owned, independent, and privately held family business. We've been headquartered in Sarasota for about 30 years. We currently manufacture and distribute control-release fertilizers into primarily the United States horticultural market, but also regionally in turf and specialty agriculture. The majority of our business is based in the state of Florida. We have developed two patented fertilizer technologies, one for blending I'll get into, the other one for coating, which we call FloraCoat. We were pioneers in developing environmentally sustainable agriculture through reduction of nutrient runoff and heat vegetation, and we are a two-time recipient and winner of EPA Gulf Guardian Award for reducing nutrient runoff into the Gulf of Mexico. A little bit about the history and the timeline. Again, established in '81, we began distribution of control-release fertilizers in 1985 with actually a Japanese product that we imported in. And then we began a blending and bagging operation, which really was the beginning of manufacturing for us outside of the straight distribution. That was in '95. Then we developed the first technology in '99, again, this blending technology. That allowed us to research and develop a coating technology for the fertilizer. We then moved into a couple of diversified businesses that we got into manufacturing of actually nursery containers and pots in Sebring, Florida. And we had a retail product as well that was in Home Depot stores called Dynamite. We then over time diversified out of those other business units and strictly focused on manufacturing fertilizer only. So that was a big transition for us in '08, '09. Also during a very rough economic patch, but we managed to get through that and have expanded our new business model through the last few years and really experienced some significant growth with this very focused model on strictly on manufacturing. So again, what we do, we specialize in polymer-coated fertilizers. Again, FloraCoat, our own technology, our brand is developed, and NutriCoat being the Japanese technology we've imported in. We still sell both. Again, both fertilizers, reduce the need for multiple fertilizer applications while also improving crop performance. Again, brought that fertilizer FloraCoat to market just in '08, so it's fairly new. We've experienced more than 50% growth in production volume year over year since that time. We've really scaled up manufacturing and grown. And lead us this conversation here, we're kind of growing a little bit outside of our capacity in our current infrastructure in Sarasota. An interesting note about FloraCoat technology, it was invented with assistance from a NASA-funded Space Alliance Technology Outreach Program. I'll get into how we got that grant from NASA, but that's really kind of a real interesting part of the technology. Also, a Florida-based technology there that helped us develop what we have. And again, we utilize next-generation polymers in manufacturing processes. Basically, that allow us to encapsulate raw granular fertilizer materials, and many of them have not been commercially available before. And we are the only manufacturer of control-release fertilizers in Florida. And we are the only wholly owned control-release fertilizer production company that is based in the U.S. Sustainability, really not new for us. We know it's a hot buzzword now. You know, again, like I said, we won the first place award at the EPA Gulf Guardian in 2008. We received the second place award in 2005. We've received, you know, an award from the Sarasota County Conservation Award. We were Excellence in Industry in 2001. I don't think we're keeping on here. We were actually Manufacturer of the Year in Sarasota County, and we were earlier than this. So you can read, we've been doing this for a long time. You know, my father put ESA in the name Florican in 1981. You know, it was definitely not a popular thing back then. We've never sold any pesticides, chemicals. My parents didn't believe in them. We, you know, sold even, you know, integrated pest control and bugs back in the day when we were doing business. So we've always kept that principle, you know, throughout. That's really kind of part of our ethos of who we are. And we do printed, you see this BMP thing here, you know, best management practices. We've had that printed on our fertilizer bags for many years, and it wasn't even a recommendation or a known thing from the state of Florida. So we're very strong in the environmental aspect of what we do. Again, some of the awards really that led to our technology. We won a national award for this, what we call SNR, Stage Nutrient Release Fertilizer. It was a blended technology that actually allowed us to win the Florida Governor's New Product Award. The state of Florida then nominated us for a national award of the 50 states, and in the small business category, we actually won the award from the National Society of Professional Engineers. And you see that little blue box there. As part of that engineering award, we received a grant from actually any federal institution that we as our choosing. And my father selected NASA. He had read some things about their use of polymers on the space shuttle. And again, they were based in Florida, and clearly got some intelligence. So we went that route, and they helped us develop this polymer coating and gave us some recommendations on which ones to go with. We got our management team again. Again, my father's still involved in the business, not day to day as much, but he is the founder and chairman. I run the business day to day as president and CEO. I mentioned Mike here, our CFO, who's got over 20 years of manufacturing experience, running some big companies, some Fortune 500 companies, doing CFO work for them. Dennis comes to us with 20 years of experience in Scotts Miracle-Gro, doing polymer coating technology there. We were able to recruit him and bring him a few years ago. Again, Brian's been with us for 7 years, and we developed expanded out of our core horticulture business into really agriculture for primarily the state of Florida, and helped us grow that segment. And Bill, who's not here with us now, lives in Texas. He's the director of our business development. He really helps expand a little bit outside of Florida and help us grow our business. Current employee breakdown, in seasonal times like this, we're most busy, obviously in spring. We have a handful of seasonal employees. Plant personnel right now around 32. You can see the average salary ranges there. Administration, we're very lean inside. Again, almost everything goes through distribution for us, so we're very lean as far as internal administration goes. And between us here in management and sales, we got another 10 people. Read out the last line on the slide, so I can back the line, but again, we estimate a minimum of 20 to 30 employees working out of the Hardin County facility out of those employees that we currently have. It's just based on our current volume of employees. A little snapshot of Florican. We estimate 2013 sales to be roughly $25 million. Sales have increased again since that 08, 09 transition to manufacturing. We've increased over 40% in top line sales volume. Our asset debt ratios are 2 to 1. Again, 40 to 45 employees, depending on seasonal demand. Our heritage market, as I explained, is ornamental and horticulture. We experience significant growth in the ag and turf market, particularly in Florida. Again, most of our business is in the state of Florida, and we manufacture over 15,000 tons of control-release fertilizer annually. By this summer, we expect to have a 25,000 ton coating capacity for FloraCoat. It's produced in 3 state-of-the-art what's called Continental Mark 9. They're specific coating drums made for our industry. We also have dedicated R&D units in place and continue to develop new technology and advance our IP forward. It's a big part of our business is to continually develop new technologies. Sales growth, again, you can see here, this is based on the 4 sectors that we sell into: ornamentals, agriculture, turf, retail, and the total. So, again, the ornamental business is still a huge driver of our business, but the agriculture turf piece is kind of growing at a larger percentage and larger clip. And we've experienced, again, almost double-digit growth every year for the last 4 or 5 years. Projected sales is on the same pattern, just a little bit bigger. We're trying to get the 35 million mark in the next 5 years is kind of our major goals right now. Okay, a little bit about technologies. Again, I explained the blending technology, U.S. patent number for that, and the coating technology as well. And then the blending distribution technology is a Japanese technology called Nutricoat that we're still exclusive distributor of in the 9 southeastern U.S. states. We still have that contract. So SNR is really a concept of feeding a crop what it needs when it needs it, not having any wasted nutrients. So if the crop requires, phosphorus early on root development, we're going to apply that early on the first 2 or 3 months of the crop, and then not have it available later where it wouldn't be used and would run off and be lost. Same thing with nitrogen. If it's used in the middle term of the crop to grow the plant, to get vegetative growth and get it green, and it will kind of tail off, and we'll apply micronutrients or potassium at the end for hardening the crop off or flowering, whatever it might do. That was really the base of the technology. It's not really rocket science, but it hadn't been done before with controlled release fertilizer. They had it done with liquid in greenhouses or granular, but not in this type of pattern where you put out one product on day one and it would feed a crop, with this kind of pattern for 6 months or 3 months or 9 months or 12 months, however you wanted the product to last. That was the basis of the technology that really won those awards and really got us with our own coating in that way. How the coating works, there's other technologies similar that have a polyurethane coating. Ours also is a polyurethane polymer coating. Basically have a fertilizer granule. It could be a urea or NPK or anything like that, and then we'll apply for manufacturing process a polyurethane coating that has some microscopic fissures and holes in it. The water will allow itself to permeate through. It will create osmotic pressure inside of that internal frill, and that will dissolve the nutrients and push the nutrients back out. And we can control the amount of flow of nutrients in and out of that membrane by the amount of layers, the amount of polymer that we apply. Ryan's going to take over this little piece of the presentation, discuss the markets that we service.
Thank you. Again, my name is Brian Patterson. I'm here born and raised in Hardy County. So wanted to share a little bit about the markets that we serve as the VP of sales for Forcan. If we look at the company, let's say 7 years ago before I joined them, their core markets were horticulture, and we can literally say they had 0 bags, 0 pounds of products sold outside that horticulture market. And we fast forward to where we are today, and we've seen the significant growth that we've had outside of those markets in the ags and the turf and the LCO markets. But we'll touch real quickly on really the 5 what we call groups of markets that we serve. First one, obviously, being our core market. Floor coat, when we started floor coat and the thoughts of floor coat back in 2007, this floor coat was going to be used primarily to get us out of that floor market and into the ag and turf markets. And as you can see now today, floor coat has become a significant part of those horticultural markets. Today, we sold over 10,000 tons of this manufactured product into the floor market since 2008. Currently, the number 3 grower in the United States, located right here in Florida, is a 100% user of the Forcan product lines. Uses over 20 truckloads of floor coat alone, just at one farm. Right now, we've developed some relationships in the Pacific Northwest and California. Last year alone, we were able to grow that market to 1,000-ton, demographic, target for us, and we see that market growing significantly every year. Our recent development, what we're introducing into the liner markets, so vegetable production, citrus liner markets, is a nano prill, and the science behind that is basically it's a much smaller version of our typical fertilizer, and the theory there is that the more prills that you can get to a liner pot, the better nutritional uptake that plant's going to receive over the life of growing that plant. Right now, we currently have a customer list of end-user nurseries, 3,000 plus customers. And we look at that list year over year, it's continuing to grow, even in a market that's declining You know, year over year, we're continuing to see increases in end user customers. And that's simply from the fact that we're spreading, you know, our footprint across the United States and more outside of Florida. We're supported by two of the largest distributors in the eastern United States, and we typically produce over 100 bag products, 100 different SKUs, analysis to sell to the end users. LCO Landscape Maintenance, that was really our first trip outside of the Florida markets, you know, 7 years ago when we started. And, you know, if we look at today, now we have really five states that we sell our landscape products into. We specialize in creating a 6-month release product. So typical landscapers that go out and apply 4, 5, 6 times a year, we can now cut that back to 2, either through the stages of release that Eric has talked about, and through testing, through the trials that we've done. You know, even NIFISH, University of Florida results show very similar, if not favorable results by fertilizing 2 times a year with a control release product. We look at the state of Florida alone, several major municipalities incorporate Florida Code across their landscape. You know, medians, palms, different ornamentals. We're used at several large theme parks, SeaWorld, Busch Gardens, Disney, just to name a few. And we just actually acquired a distributor in Chicago that switched from a duration Agrium type product to Florida Code and is now serving that Midwest, you know, Chicago market for us. Golf and sports turf. This is, you know, probably our most recent market that we started attacking pretty hard. Really, last year was the first year that we really went after the golf market, you know, as a primary growth sector, and that's simply for the fact that we gained a good distribution partner last year. We have a full line of 150 SGN. When I say SGN, that's just basically the size that we're referring to of the prill. It's a smaller prill that's used in golf course markets and close cut turf. The Andersons, one of the larger fertilizer providers in the United States, for the past 3 years, we supplied them with their greens grade material. Diamond R, who is locally here in Florida, they now have a turf and ornamental team that is our go-to golf and ornamental partner in the state of Florida. And last year alone, their first year operating as a Florida Code distributor, sold 500 tons of one component, which is a urea, into the golf course market in the state of Florida. And then we like, you know, everybody likes to name, you know, Dallas MLS soccer team, their stadium in Dallas, Texas, uses our product wall to wall on their sports turf. Agriculture, you know, this has been our largest growth sector for the last 7 years, and as Eric showed on the sales projections earlier, it's going to continue in our eyes to be, you know, to be the largest growth sector of our company. Two of the largest lenders in Florida now utilize Florida Code as their control release fertilizer. So that's a big step, you know, that's a big portion of our sales go through those 2 distribution partners alone. We've also expanded into the California ag market, so we're really specializing in attacking those strawberry markets. You know, the difference between the California and the Florida strawberry markets is Florida uses a lot of liquid and California uses all control release fertilizer. So we really attack that California market hard. 30 truckloads of material that we've sent to California for the strawberries since 2009. Expanding the sod markets, you know, as the sod market falls a little bit, you know, we're able to get cost effective and actually savings while producing sod quicker, turning more turns over the period of the year. We're doing a lot of work on sugarcane. In the last 2 years, we've done a lot of trial work, and that's actually led into some production work and started in 2012. Our largest market, you know, our largest market that we see in the ag as growing is the citrus market, and as Mr. Prescott talked about, the citrus market has been declining in the state of Florida, but it still is one of our largest markets that we're growing in right now. And if you look at the CRS sold in the citrus market, we have the lion's share of that, you know, largest market share of that CRS sold in the citrus markets. Blueberries, tomatoes, celery, you know, we're continuing to expand our portfolio of crops that we're going into and trialing on, and we see those as some crops that we're still growing in and still working on, and hopefully next year, you know, I'll be able to show the growth in those markets like we showed in the citrus and sugarcane markets this year. Retail lawn care, Eric mentioned Dynamite Plant Food. You know, if you go into Home Depot, you see the red and green tubes. The Dynamite Plant Food, that is manufactured in Sarasota, Florida. So we have the Dynamite Plant Food line. Florida Code is also now just recently the approved vendor at Lowe's in their Stay Green soil lines. So we do have the fertilizer there in the state greenhouse. We are sold in Texas in retail centers under the brand Fertilome, and we also have our own retail brand Grow Smart, which is sold in 25-pound bags here locally at local, independent garden centers and farm stores.
Okay, I want to talk a little bit about a partnership we've recently developed with a very large agribusiness, and this was press released, I think, back in August of 2012. So those technologies that you saw there that we've developed over the years, and with those 2 patents, they were sold to a company called JR Simplot, who's based out in Idaho. They're a multi-billion-dollar private business, also still family held. But that was done in an effort for us really to try and get some fuel and capital back for our growth. And part of the condition of the sale was that we didn't want really any change to our existing business. They had a need for the technology, and we had a need really to just keep our business intact as it was. So we received a license back from Sailor Technology, exclusive for all of our markets in the state of Florida and for all the ornamental markets in 32 states in the U.S. So it really had no real impact to the sales, marketing, and how we do our business. But we were able to do a technology transfer to them in an IP sale. And we plan together with this partner to market the technology worldwide. They're going to market it internationally, where they have a lot of breadth and scale. They're going to market it in the western U.S. We're going to market it in the eastern U.S. Again, the transaction provided Florican with working capital to fuel our growth and invest in a lot more new equipment recently. The proceeds are, again, currently being used to ramp up production in 2013 due to unprecedented demand right now. We are currently experiencing a quite difficult spring season. We are completely sold out. So, trying to get new equipment as fast as we can. Other strategic partners that we have in the state, Brian mentioned Diamond R. They're our largest fertilizer. They are the largest fertilizer in Florida, and they're our biggest partner right now in that golf and turf segment. BWI is a $500 million distributor based in Texas, and they're the largest distributor in basically the landscape, ornamental and retail throughout the whole southeastern U.S. They've got, I think, 8 or 10 different locations, 50 sales reps, so they're a very big partner for us. I mentioned the 3rd largest grower in the country, Costa Nursery, is based out of Homestead, Florida. They have over 2,000 acres in ornamental nursery production and service. Lowe's and Home Depot, their largest vendor in the nation for Lowe's. And they are 100% exclusive with Florican on fertilizer, so it's been one of our oldest and best customers for a long time. BioNitrogen, how most of you guys know, we've entered into some MOUs with them to partner in coating, their urea, which hopefully manufacture here in Hardin County in the short term. And our technology obviously dovetails very well and fits in with theirs, where the granular urea is the number one item that we coat and sell into the market. So obviously having local access and availability, something like that, is very interesting for our business. Holly Chemical, also another multi-billion-dollar agriculture company. They utilize our technology as well throughout the southeast. And BASF is our vendor for polymer technology for our coating, and they're of course the world's largest chemical company. So for a small $20 million family business, we have some very significant partners that we work with. So that comes to our need for relocation. We currently operate from 3 separate independent nearby buildings in a light industrial park in Sarasota. We're 1 mile from the interstate off of Fruitville Road. And that really, those 3 buildings kind of grew out of, we were doing just distribution, then we bought the building to do blending and bagging, then we bought a building to do coating in, and it's just highly inefficient right now, difficult to move material back and forth between the 3 buildings. And the light industrial park is not very conducive to manufacturing that we're doing right now. We've also outgrown our space entirely. We have no access right now to rail. There's really no access whatsoever in Sarasota County. And it's difficult for us to find the required workforce and skill set, that our plant requires. Our timeline, we're targeting relocation in 18-24 months. We'd like it to be sooner, but we think that's probably the most realistic type of timeline. All three of our buildings have been listed for sale already, and one was already sold last year in 2012. So now we're operating just under 2 buildings, which is even giving us a little more constraint on our space. But the other 2 buildings are actively for sale and being shown on a weekly basis. Sorry, go back to that for 1 second. So again, like I said, we anticipate those 2 selling in 2013. We're aggressively marketing them. We've done some preliminary engineering work on a future facility location, and we're considering alternative locations near the Port of Manatee or Port of Tampa, obviously, as well as here in Hardin County. For us, key attributes of a new facility location would be basically, consolidating all of our locations to one, 120,000 square foot facility. That would give us some room for expansion. Somewhere that was more industrial, manufacturing location, that wasn't in a light park like we're in now. Maybe some modifications, for height that allows us to have a more efficient vertical process. Again, strategic access to raw materials is a significant factor for us. Potential access to rail, the ability again to reduce delivery and freight costs to service the market. We're continuing to service and grow the agricultural sector. It's better for us to be a little more closer to the market than we are currently. So why Hardin County? Obviously, there's some available incentives that are very attractive to us that we need to consider. It's close to home for us, not too far of a drive. It will meet most or all of our facility criteria. We hope to have better access to a skilled workforce. We think we'll have a lower cost to operate than we do right now in Sarasota County. We'll be closer and we'll have more access to the Port of Tampa, where the majority of the raw materials and fertilizer come in. Future access to rail is still a little bit unknown, I hope, for us. And of course, the potential for departure of bionitrogen is a major factor, for us as well. Again, given the access to that type of raw material being an obvious benefit and strategic area for us. Some potential concerns, issues. Again, really meet that timeline, for Hardin County. The understanding of what all the incentives are, and just going through all that detail. Our ability to sell our real estate and establishing the cost of the facility. Not the best real estate market right now, so we're still trying to actively shop those buildings and move them and get that capital back. Relocating our existing staff and equipment, that's obviously a major concern. We become at a significant cost. And of course, retraining new staff, identifying quality workforce. Again, I mentioned the rail a few times, so as we grow our business and expand into a larger company, having again the access to raw materials on rail is something that all of our competitors have. We eventually need to be able to have that competitive advantage. That's it. Thank you very much. Any questions you guys have?
Thank you so much. That presentation is very informative. Any questions from the members of the board here?
I use your product, Citrus, resets all the time. Good product.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I have a question. As far as workforce, what is, you describe skills needed for the plant. Are those skills that are something you can train in-house for? Can you take existing, I guess, people that are in the ag business or ag type work and train them for these types of positions, or do you need specific skills for this?
I want to speak to that because
essentially, all we need is a reliable workforce who's willing to work and earn a good living. We require, obviously, some common sense, mechanical abilities, both of which I think are very easily obtained in the county. But for the most part, this is a pretty specialized industry, and you can't really expect a lot of people to come in with knowledge. So we train most of it OJT.
The other question I have, you said you do have need for rail, potentially. Has that been discussed with Bill or anyone yet as far as locations or potential locations for rail?
Well, the main location, obviously, that we're looking at is, right next to, bionitrogen. To be next door neighbors to them, because, most efficient for our facility, we pull raw urea directly out of their facility into ours, coat it, put it in a silo, put it in a rail car and ship it. That would give us the most strategic, access to raw materials and allow us to be very efficient and very competitive. So that's a location we're clearly, looking at and discussing with them. Right now, Bill has another location, potentially might look at heading off the road there a few miles, so, again, it's considerations there for us, getting material from Port of Tampa and trucking it over versus railing it over is a significant difference in cost.
Is bio-nitrogen's success and opening a major key to your decision, or is it a decision you would make independent of that
Great question.
factory?
We are looking at it completely independent. We need to look at it that way. There's no guarantee on bionitrogen and the timeline, or when they're going to be in production. So we're looking at it completely independently. Obviously, right now we're in Sarasota. We're in 3 buildings. We don't have rail. We're still trucking material from the port. So all that still exists, and we're still operating well, and we're growing, and we're doing okay. So those things are, stepping in that right direction is all benefits. Getting under one roof, getting closer to the port, getting a better workforce, those are all benefits. And obviously, if there's incentives involved in the county and moving, those are very attractive to us. I think, Sarasota is not very keen on manufacturing. It's not something they really, are promoting and trying to, incentivize us to stay, if you will.
Are you in the Ackerman Park?
We're in the Eastern Industrial Park, right off of the celery fields, off of Palmer and Apex over there, South Brookville.
If I may, I'll make a few comments that may clarify some of the situations. I had actually been working with this company prior to the existence of bio-nitrogen, and we had been considering various sites in Hardy County related to a simple relocation. When bio-nitrogen came on the scene, I felt like that there was a very strong potential for a working synergy between the 2 companies, and I suggested that they get together and begin to, discuss whether or not they should be co-located or at least in close proximity. We had basically been pursuing the co-location situation, but there are some other developments that I'll go through a brief overview of the other developments so that everyone has a public knowledge of the various pieces that fit together in this equation. And then what I would like to do, if it's the board's will, is to turn over this project and the things that I'm going to tell you to chamber vetting, and then come back to you next month with a recommendation. There are some timeliness issues that we need to be concerned with. So anyway, we have, of course, bio-nitrogen. We have Florican. We also have the potential for a need for a location for JDC phosphates. We also have Fort Greene LNG, and we also have the unnamed large agricultural project. All of them are looking for sites in western Hardy County. I am not certain where the best site is. They offer, certainly the property that we have been considering is an excellent piece of property related to Florican and bio-nitrogen. I do not want to do anything that disrupts or upsets the development of those 2 companies if they can continue along that path. However, if we can co-locate all of these companies together on a larger parcel of property, it may in fact be the best thing for us to do at the end of the day. But there are some other companies that have to make decisions. All of them have been apprised at various stages of the moving parts that are related to making all of this work. So without going any further into detail, what I really would like us to do is to allow the chamber to vet this. I will tell you that from the IDA's perspective, I think we should consider intensely and intently building them the spec building that they need, and then working out some type of reciprocity as it relates to the rail spur. We also have options on other pieces of property that may not necessitate the construction of a full rail spur. And there could be significant cost savings if we can make the other properties work. So there's a lot of moving parts in this equation. I need a little more time, but I don't want to delay unnecessarily the length of time to make a decision. So we also have a grant cycle that is opening up for the EDA shortly. We have to consider whether or not we're going to make application for grants related to all of these moving parts. That has to happen certainly by the next meeting, and that's the reason I'd like to turn it over to vetting and let them come back to you with a recommendation.
Board members understand that? Any questions about that?
I got a question. Eric, also use your product, and it's a very good product. From your standpoint, what kind of time frame are you looking at that would be ideal?
Yeah, ideal, I think for us would be, an 18-month time frame where we could, be in before this, the spring of 2015. It would be ideal for us to be up and running or relocated before, this type of procedure.
Any other questions? Then I would entertain a motion from someone on the board, if they so choose, to turn this over to the chamber for vetting and come back next month with a recommendation.
So moved.
Second. We have a motion made and seconded. Any further discussions on that motion?
I just would like to, so let's don't delay, move as quickly as we can.
It sounds like we could have the potential here of what we would call the perfect storm, with all these entities coming together and synergizing in one place at the right time and the right place. So we will do that. So the motion is made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll make one last comment on just that synergy aspect. In the environmental aspect of it, it can't be gone unnoticed here. You have a company that's going to take farmers' waste and, basically refuse and garbage, convert it into a raw material. That raw material, it could be said in its raw form, not the best thing for really the state of Florida, and for the environment. Raw urea is not really used that much in the state, but nevertheless, manufacturing urea from waste product versus importing it from the Black Sea is a significant advancement. For us to take our technology and apply a coating to that urea, which then prevents it from getting out into the environment, out into the Gulf, and then selling that product right back to the same farmer that provided us with the biomass. I can't imagine a better possible story to be able to be told that complete closed cycle within Florida, done in Florida manufacturing, all locally. It's a pretty fantastic story. It's something that we'd all be very proud to be able to tell.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on. Yep.
The next presenter is Kenneth Conklin from Access My Office. Apologize, Kenneth.
Hi, I'm Kenneth Conklin, small business technology specialist and doing business on my own since 2000. Microsoft certified as an administrator and systems engineer, and I carry a network specialist and a small business specialist with Microsoft Systems. I've been in the industry and I've covered a lot of hardware, different industries, small businesses, real estate companies, legal, medical, restaurant, hospitality, CPAs, investment firms, environmental services, trucking, and videography. I carry several certifications and certificates in different Microsoft fields, Novell fields, Cisco, and the new up-and-coming firewall systems that we call UTM, or Unified Threat Management. I have national partnerships with a lot of your larger companies like Microsoft, OEM provider for them, where I'm allowed to sell their software on my equipment. Asus, Seagate, Dell, IBM. I also have local representation in St. Petersburg area with Rapid Systems, Comdex, which is a voice over IP server, service provider, and Xeno Copiers provide to my customers copier support. Access My Office is a corporate network designed for the small business industry. What it is in the small business, they have to afford everything. No partnerships, no pooled IT sources, everything is on their shoulders. Access My Office is going to bring a corporate network infrastructure that a small business will take a chunk of. So they get to utilize the big pools of the IT engineering, second level help desks, specialists in the area, and instead of having to pay for them all at one time upfront, large cost, they get a pool of it, so it lowers the cost of it. It also provides instantaneous support for the end user, just like if they work at a corporation. They pick up the phone, make a phone call on any issue to one person, and we would take care of it from there. It is also because of the way it's set up and very secure, the customers that work within Access My Office will be able to work with each other and share resources with each other instead of having to worry about how to get data from one side to another, or how to get your QuickBooks to your accountant and back, because it's now getting bigger than your email can provide, things like that. They're also able to share information, just like if you're working in a large corporation and two inter-office divisions need to share a small folder with each other, they can do that. Well, with Access My Office, the small business owner can do that with another small business, so they can kind of mingle their networks into one. Access My Office is the corporate level IT system. It gives different levels of IT support to the small business owner. It pulls our network resources together and gives redundant functionality to the small business owner. If something happens at their site, we'll have their data on our site, and they can actually go into our system and work with it. So it's not redundant to the power going off, the internet disconnected, anything that can bring down a small business very quickly. We will have a redundant system for them. We have dedicated support staff on call for them. No matter what time of the day, if a small business employee needs help, they pick up the phone, they contact us, we remote in and fix it. If we can't remote in and fix it, we'll have a local area representative that is the face of Access My Office, be able to be deployed and show up at that customer as soon as possible, within usually about 4 hours. That right there is probably one of the biggest assets to a small business company. Instead of having to pick up the phone and say, hey, I've got this broken, and they call this company, and that company goes, that's not our fault, that needs to be that company, and they just go around, and so they're spending their time, instead of focusing on the business, trying to fix their IT structure. With Access My Office, they'll pick up the phone, we will take care of it from there. We know what's going on with their system. We will provide the communications to the third-party vendors, get things rolling, and get them back up and running as soon as possible. The nice thing about it is it brings both the internet, the other side of the cloud, when you pick up the phone and you're talking to somebody, you don't know who you're talking to. With a local representative, we're not going to compete with them. We're going to ask them to enhance our product. Because if the local representative is getting paid a commission back every month, they then are out there trying to sell more. They're not out there trying to repair technology. We're going to be doing that remotely. And if we can't get to them remotely, then we'll use a local representative to actually go out to the site and get us back online so that we can finish remoting into it. The nice thing about it is the same circle of how we handle the customer, of the small business contacting Access My Office. We figure out if we can go in remotely and fix it. If we can, we're done. If not, we get the local representative out, they contact the customer. There's that face-to-face relationship. The sales is the same way. The local area rep is going to be the salesman for that area. He's going to get that face-to-face, but he's also going to have a huge IT team behind him to support his endeavors. So as he starts up in business, the small IT person will be able to, access the higher-end engineering skills of Access My Office employees and be able to come up with a complete solution for that small business. Access My Office is going to bring bandwidth, IT talent into Tech River and Hardy County. It's going to bring national income. It is an internet-based system. And so wherever it's sold in an area, anywhere in the world really, as long as there's an internet connection, that money is going to come into Access My Office, which I want hosted here inside of Hardy County. The team, the IT technology team, will be here at Hardin County in the actual Access One office, so that anything that a small business needs, a programmer, an engineer, a web designer, that's all gonna come from my relationships here in the Hardin County Tech River area. The human resources, the community, we need bodies. We need to be able to have a complete collection of people in one area that have all the different IT talents to offer to small businesses or medium-sized businesses when they start up. In that circle of camaraderie or interoperation with each other, we're not going to compete with each other, we're going to enhance each other. Here again, bandwidth in the national income. We're going to be, all my customers are going to be connected to the internet 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. At night, we're going to have backup systems going. During the day, VPNs, remote access. Data is going to be moving anywhere and everywhere. And I want to put my servers in ONA, which will bring in bandwidth. Here again, national income money. Anybody anywhere with an internet connection can sign up with Access My Office. You will have a local representative to handle on-site for them. So we cover everything that that small business needs in their technology needs. For Tech River, Access My Office is going to offer a couple things. One, I can come in and give them a complete managed network, a complete development network, and shared customer database. What I mean by the shared customer database is my customers are available to Tech River talent. And Tech River talent will hopefully have my, I'll be available to their customers. When there's a project between the two customers, they can actually share it on the same exact network that they work with, the customer works with, and development network will be identical. So when going to development into production should be seamless. I'm going to need from Tech River IT training. I expect to bring in low-level technicians and train them within the company. Bring them up to the standards that I run my business today with. And that's only going to come from within. I don't expect to hire somebody outside the county and drive them in and out. I want them to have a 15-minute drive to work. Application developers. I need an application development system. Small businesses do too. In these partnerships that are created between Tech River and I, we'll be able to display that, offer that to my customers anywhere in the United States. Web designers is a big thing also. Small businesses, they tend to go to the template drag and drops, get something going. They need a little bit more enhanced knowledge of what's going on in the industry, how to get them in the search engine, things like that. That's what I'm looking for from Tech River. In the community, I want to employ, off the bat, approximately 11 employees. Send them into the IT industry immediately. That's going to generate more technical, advanced people coming in, more small businesses that understand technology and need it. They'll be able to start up in the area. I also want to offer benefits and retirement plans for my employees. On the small business side, Access My Office is going to lower the ultimate cost of startup because we're going to handle all the licensing on a month-to-month basis. We're going to help the customer get in startup his business so he can focus on his core instead of figuring out what he needs to do with his IT infrastructure. And I'm also going to be very involved with the community. I want to enhance churches. I want to enhance educational instances for technology because this is the way the world's going, and we can't back out of it. In the first 2 years, the average salary is going to be about $32,900. I'm going to have approximately 11 employees, 8 IT professionals, 1 business manager, an accountant, and 1 sales. In the third and fourth year, I expect the average income to come up a little bit to $33,280. And my employee staff will go to 13 IT professionals, 2 accountants, 1 business manager, and 2 sales. The first 2 years is definitely going to be a loss because there's a large investment into the hardware, into the employment, in the first year of training the employees to get up to speed. A little bit of sales happening in the first year. The second year, I expect the system to be up and running fully and sales be implemented as much as possible. At an average of 5 users per customer with an annual annual expense of $5,400, 224 customers giving $1.2 million in sales. Since Access My Office is based 80% on labor, that is recovered into employment. In the third year, I expect to actually hit a profit and take that money and reinvest it into the fourth year to do the next growth of servers and